Hello, 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 everyone. Let's see who's gonna join us. If you are here, please go ahead and say hello so I know who's joining us. And I am gonna find us on the iPad and go ahead and share with our groups so everybody knows where to find us. There we are. We are live. So we're gonna do a quick share to groups, and we want our VIPs and our team. All right, looks good. We are officially live. So go ahead, say hello so we know who's hanging out, and we will get started. All right, first things first, Paper Pumpkin. We are now in that August subscription period. The August kit is called Farmhouse Florals. You're going to make 9 cards, 3 each of 3 designs, and they are going to be a whimsical theme featuring flowers nestled in delightfully unexpected places. So that's going to be fun to see what that shows. You'll receive pre-cut paper pieces and linen thread. You're going to get a sentiment stamp for the inside and outside of the cards. And your coordinating colors will be Calypso Coral, Darling Duckling, Gray Granite, Lost Lagoon, Pecan Pie, and Secret Sea. So that's 2 new in colors included in here. So Darling Duckling and Secret Sea, and your ink spot will be Secret Sea. You're going to get an additional stamp set included in this particular kit. Hey, Sherry, glad you could join. And it will coordinate with the add-on dies called Circle of Seasons. You can add those on as long as you're a subscriber. You can grab those dies to coordinate with all 3 kits for this quarter, July, August, and September. We'll all coordinate with these. And here is the link I popped up here on the screen for getting Paper Pumpkin. If that is something that interests you, definitely recommend. And if you need help with Paper Pumpkin, please let me know. I'll be glad to help you get in. Then, of course, there's our online exclusives. We do have some that dropped back in. Oh, hey, Kay, so glad you could see. Join us. Hey, sis, glad you made it. So our online exclusives, I have the link here to go ahead and check out those online exclusives that did drop earlier this month, early July. We have more online exclusives coming in September. For demonstrators, we get to see them and order them in August. So that's coming right up around the corner. So lots more awesomeness. But for now, we do have all of this awesomeness here that we've been exploring and playing with. Love these drops. So yeah, way more coming. Here is the link to go directly to the online exclusives if you want to check those out. And I did also add a QR code. So if you want to screenshot this, you can actually use your phone or tablet camera and go directly to the online exclusives if you'd like to check those out. Thought I'd make it really easy for you to check them out and find them without having to search too hard. So again, you can just do a screen grab of this and then use your camera and check it out. It'll take you right there. Sales tax holiday for many states through August. Some states were in July, others are coming up in August. We have Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, Massachusetts, Missouri, New Mexico, Ohio, Puerto Rico, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, Virginia, and West Virginia, who have some back-to-school tax holiday opportunities. And your stamp and seal, dimensionals, all of our adhesives, markers, blends, are all included for most these states that are offering this tax holiday. New York, unfortunately, isn't one of them. But for the others, if you are in one of these states, you can take that opportunity to save on that tax on those items. So definitely something fun to do. Okay, now back to here. So today we are featuring the Sunshine Vibes. It's actually part of the Boho Vibe Suite. So the suite includes your bundle, which is the Sunshine Vibes. You got dies, and you have the stamp set. We have designer series paper, which is a 6x6 bold colors in our designer series paper. So you can actually see that. Lots of bright, dark, bold colors. Then, of course, with that is part of the suite. Also includes the muted palette dots. So if you were to order the entire suite, you would get all of these items here. So we are featuring all of this today. I have some really cute cards to share with you, and they are Sending Good Vibes with our little rainbow here. Hey, Paula, glad you could join. Paulette, sorry. Oh, just trying to see who's here. We got Kay, we got Sherry, we have Sister, hey, Paulette. All right. If anybody else here, go ahead, say hello. We'd love to hear who's hanging out with us. So we have our Sending Good Vibes. This one's using our new in color cloud cover. So loving that color with a little bit of Secret Sea. Then we have here, Thanks. Again, this is just a different way of using our one rainbow die. Hello, Arlene. So glad you could make it. Oh, I go back to work tomorrow. I don't want it to be hotter, sis. Ugh. Anyway, so we have our thanks card, again, using our rainbow a little bit differently. And then we have our hello, which is another rainbow, again, used just a little bit differently. So lots of options with this particular stamp set and dies. I didn't use everything and I didn't try everything, but I tell you, there are so many options to do with this particular set. So definitely worth playing with. But we're going to start with our Sending Good Vibes. Okay, so for that, I have cloud cover is my card base. And this is 8.5 by 5.5, and it is scored at 4 1/4. So we're going to go ahead and fold on that score line. Like so. Then, using the Pressed Flowers embossing folder, it is just a standard embossing folder, I went ahead and I embossed a piece of basic white that measures 5 by 3 3/4. And I did that ahead. So we have a lot of die cutting in these cards. So to save a little bit of time, I did do that much ahead. So we have that. And I have scrap for die cutting, basic white. And then I have some scrap cardstock for die cutting, which is Secret Sea, Petal Pink, and more cloud cover. And then I have 3 pieces of designer series paper, and these are all cut 1-inch square. I'm going to sign here like so. And we're going to start by bringing in our little cushion here. And we're going to start by stamping our sentiment, Sending Good Vibes. So we want our Secret Sea ink pad. And our stamp set, or stamp that states Sending Good Vibes. So you could send this card, sending good vibes. It could be for somebody who needs healing wishes. You could send this to somebody who just you're thinking of, just to let them know you're thinking of them and you're sending them good vibes. So there's different reasons for why you could send this card. So it's one to have easily in your stash just to say, sending good vibes. Because again, you could use it for just thinking of you, healing wishes, all of that. All right, so we're just going to clean our stamp on our little chamois here. Okay, so we have that. Next, I have the cloud cover faux linen ribbon. And we're just going to go ahead and wrap this around like so. And don't see, oh, there they are. My little tweezers here to be my third hand. There we go. Just a smidge. There we are. Snips. And we're just going to trim our tails. All right, so there's our sending good vibes. We're going to go ahead, get our adhesive. There we go. We got a nice little border on our card because I did cut this, like I said, 5 by 3 3/4. So we'd have a nice border all the way around. So there's our sending good vibes. Next, so not my minis. I need my minis. Aha, here we are. So we have some mini dimensionals, and I have these 1-inch squares. And these are going to line up like so. So that looks pretty centered there. All right, so we just want our squares and so we're just going to go ahead. And I like to use 2, so we're going to kind of straddle our ribbon. Okay, just like that. All right, so there's our little dimensionals. We're going to go ahead and remove our dimensional backings. There we go. Trash bin. All right, so we're going to start with our center. And that's going to go right there. So there's our little squares. All right, next, we're going to need our baby boss. So we're going to bring in one of our stitched shapes dies. I'm using the, I think it's like the third square shape here. And we're going to go and run that through our baby boss. Bring the baby boss in. And tell me, I did. I left the plates way over here. So now we have our plates. So there's our square. And then we need our little rainbow pieces. So we're going to start with our secret C. Run that through. Stuck in here. So we're going to poke that through. So there's our secret C. Next up, and you can save that little piece. Look at that. You can make that into a hat for a large enough something, or you could turn it upside down and make it a planter. So definitely look at your scraps. They could be used for something else. All right, next, we're going to use our petal pink and our little squiggly shaped rainbow arch. Again, just going to use my little pokey tool end here. All right, next up is cloud cover and the little baby rainbow arch. this aside for just a minute. All right, so now head. Poke that out. And there is that. All right. So now we're going to bring back our little square here. We are going to adhere. I'm going to use a little bit of liquid glue. We're just using little dots. And this is just going to lay right here. All right, so there's our first little arch. Next, we have our petal pink. And this would actually be a good place to use those silicone brushes, but I don't have them over here with me. They're over on my other desk. Just touch it with just a smidge of glue. So, and same thing with this. I'm going to get very minute. I got a little bit of a glop there. Hopefully it's not too messy. Like so. All right. Next, I'm going to flip this over. And on the top, I'm just going to add, oops, put that back together. All right, there we go. Just going to add a little adhesive there. And then on the bottom, we're going to add dimensions. And that just sit like so. Next, we need our dots. Well, thank you, Sherry. I'm glad you liked them. All right. We're going to get our take your pick tool. And I want petal pink, a cloud cover, and a darling duckling, like so. Set these aside for a moment. And that completes our first card. All right, so moving right along. Card number 2. This one's our thanks card. And again, quick and easy, very simple. This time I used a thick basic white as my card base. This measures 8.5 by 5.5. Again, scored at 4 1/4. So we'll go ahead and fold this in half. And I am just going to grab an alcohol pad here and clean off the adhesive. Alcohol pads can be your best friend in your craft room, especially for cleanups. With adhesive, alcohol tends to remove everything. And it's fast drying. There we go. Quick and easy. Peasy. There we go. These are great for cleaning your blocks as well. Okay. So for this one, I used 2 pieces of designer series paper from the Boho, I think it's Boho Vibes. Yes, Boho Vibes 6x6. And we're using pattern number 1 is this like little sunrise type pattern. On the back side, we have these stripes. So we're going to add our adhesive. This measures 4 by 5 1/4. So it's your standard card layer. So I'm going to go ahead adhere this to our card base, just like so. Easy peasy. Then I have another piece. This measures 3 inches by 4 inches. So it's 4 inches across, 3 inches wide. And that is going to adhere down just like so. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and maybe, there we go. We need another one of those alcohol preps. All right, so now we're just going to go ahead and center this across like so. Clean up that mess. There. All right. Next, I have a couple scraps of basic white. The first one being 3 by 3 1/2, or 3 3/4, right? 3 by 3 3/4. So it's 3 inches wide, 3 3/4 long. And this one, we're going to use this die here that's going to remove all those little strips. So we're going to cut this in our baby boss. And that's one of the cool things with this set is the dies all fit through the baby boss. So you don't, where did I? I know I just had them. What did I do with the, there they are. I am probably the only person I know that can actually lose something that's sitting right next to them. Good gravy. All right, so we want that to be somewhat centered on this piece. That looks pretty good. And run it through. Okay, so now I'm going to pull this away. That's what we're left with. We do have all these little strips. Whoop, or rainbow arches. You could save these for another project because you could easily use blending brushes and color these and then put them back into an order, like a rainbow order, and make a whole nother card with these pieces. Again, easily colored with your blending brushes. You can stick them in ink. There's all kinds of things you can do with those. All right, so now I have my little piece here. So now I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to add dimensionals. Oop, come on. To the corners. Now, pretty small area right here. So we're going to put one dimensional right there. And then I'm going to bring back those minis. And so now we can go ahead, remove our backings. This is going to center right onto that piece of designer paper. So we have it extending on the edges here. Oh, well, glad to know, Sherry. Thank you. Okay, next up, we're going to bring back our little cushion. I have a scrap here. And for this, again, we're using our Secret C ink pad and thanks. So we're going to ink up our word thanks. And stamp. So that's our word thanks. There. Close this up. And now I have the smallest rectangle from our die sets. This one is from the textured note dies. So if you remember these, I used the smallest of the rectangles in this set. And we are going to die cut thanks. Let's try to get that centered. It's Post-it tape. All right. So I'm going to pull that out. Bring back our baby boss. And run that through. There's our thanks. And we add a couple dimensionals. Like so. And again, bring back our dots. And we have, let's see, we're going to do duckling, do mossy meadow, petal pink, and we do like to do odd numbers. And we're going to go ahead and add a cloud cover and another mossy meadow, like so. And there is card number 2. Easy peasy. All right, we're already on to our third card tonight. And this is our hello card. This one takes just a little bit more time only because of all the die cutting, but super simple and very easy to recreate. Okay, so we're going to start with our pieces. We have a Secret C card base, 8.5 by 5.5, 4.25, just like everything else. I do have for the inside, because it is a dark card base, I have a 5.25 by 4-inch piece of basic white, and this is just for the inside of our card. I'm going to go ahead, add our adhesive, like so, and add it to the inside of our card. So now you can write whatever your heart's content on the inside of your card. Because you have a nice inside there. Okay. Next, we have a basic white that measures 3.25 by 4.25. And then you have a piece of cloud cover. This is not the right piece. That is 3 inches by 4 inches that layers right on top there. And then I have just some scraps. I have a scrap of cloud cover, Darling Duckling, Secret Sea, Cherry Cobbler, and Mossy Meadow. And how did I pick these colors? I used my Designer Series paper as my inspiration for color choices. Then I have a rainbow shape here, and I used this die here to cut that out. So that was cut out of some basic white. And that will layer onto here. And these are all the rainbows I'm going to cut out. I got to cut out 5 rainbows using this here die. So we're going to run that through to cut those out 5 times. But first, and then I have a scrap for my sentiment. This is another scrap of basic white. But before I do that, I'm sure most of you have probably already heard that there's been some issues with the stabilizing the cloud cover ink pad. So Stampin' Up has chose not to release a full-size cloud cover ink pad. And it has to do with how the chemicals react with our foam for our ink pads. So it's not remaining stable. And Stampin' Up does pride themselves on a quality product. And if they can't have quality, they will not release it. So again, not releasing the full-size pad. However, what they did do is they created the cloud cover ink spot, and they included it with the classic Stampin' Spot small assortment. So it comes with Real Red, Early Espresso, Garden Green, and Petal Pink. So it comes with these because this is a different material. It's more of a felt. And you can buy the re-inker, so you can re-ink these, or you can buy the blanks. We do have the blank Stampin' Spots that have no ink on them. They are just the felt, no color, and then you buy the ink refill and you can fill it yourself. But that's how you're going to get your cloud cover ink from now on for right now, because again, it's just not reacting well with our current foam ink pads. So therefore, it's not being released for that. But anyway, I digress. So I have my little sunburst. And where is my little stuff? Okay. And my little half circle here, which is going to be my sun. So we're going to take our cloud cover piece, and we're going to bring in our cushion. And I'm going to start with my little starburst. And we're going to ink up our little starburst or sunburst, whatever you want to call it. And right about there. That's good. And then same thing with our little half circle here. And that is going to snug right up in there. Like so. Okay. And then I am going to bring in a Post-it note. get it to, there we go. There we are. I'm going to bring back my little starburst here, or sunburst. We're going to ink it up again. So, and one more time. And we're going to turn it this way. Just because I want to make sure my sunburst goes all the way around. Not that you're going to see much of it, because once we put our rainbow on there, you don't see too much of it, but I just wanted to make sure we have that filled in nice. So we're going to set this aside for a bit, and we're going to go ahead and adhere it to the layering piece of basic white. Yeah. And then we can go ahead and this goes right to the center of our card. There we are. And then this, it's dimensionals. Oops, sorry, Sherry, didn't see you leaving. Have a good night. Okay. So now this goes right about there. All right. Next, we have all these to cut. So what we're going to do is I am going to attempt to cut 2 at a time, just to make it go a little bit faster. Hopefully they'll cut all the way through. I did not do that to test it out earlier, but we're going to do it now, just for the heck of it. So we're going to get that on there like so. Through. One more time. Let's see. Did it work? Not quite. All right, so we will not do 2 at a time. First one. Let's see. we have our green. And then we're just gonna, there it goes. Locks right into place. Oop, maybe. No, there we are. There's the cherry cobbler. Secrecy. Oop. Oop. Darling duckling. Okay, there's the darling duckling. And last but not least, cloud cover. Okay. Little strips here. And you have enough strips now to make all kinds of these cards. You would just mix them up as far as color order. There we go. All right. There, like so. All right. So now we need to get all of our little strips here. So we want the large. Then we want the next largest darling duckling. And then we want cherry cobbler. And then we want cloud cover. And then we want the little bitty mossy metal. All right, so now all the rest of these can go into the scrap pile to make more cards with these. All right, so we're going to bring back our card. We need our or adhesive. And we're going to add a adhesive. And then that drops right onto our form here. Like so. Next up, Darling Duckling. Woo! Flying rainbows. And now I've got a mess. There we go. Okay. Like so. Next up, cherry cobbler. Good. My nose is itching again tonight. Okay, next up, cloud cover. I know we still have August to get through, but is anybody like getting bummed out watching the time, like going back the other way and starting to get dark early again, like earlier? I mean, I know it's not 7 o'clock and dark or 4 o'clock and dark, but it's starting to get dark and it's just 8 o'clock. I'm not ready for fall yet. And I know we have August. I know we do, but I just feel like the summer season goes by so fast. All right, here we are. So there's our Mossy Meadow rainbow strip. So we're almost there. So now we've got to bring back our scrap here. Basic white. And find our stamp that says thanks. Or no, we want hello for this one. This one's hello. Okay, got the hello. We need Secret Sea ink. And we're going to ink up hello. And hello. All right, so there's our hello. We're going to close up that ink pad. Next, we want that die from our notes, thoughtful notes, or no, textured notes. And we're going to center that like so. And Baby Boss. Run that through. All right. Next, we're just going to put a dimensional on this end. And the other end, we're going to add a little adhesive. Remove backing. And that is going to set like so. Next, bring back our dots. I'm going to use some of our darling duckling and a little mossy meadow. And that finishes card number 3. So, quick recap. Oh my goodness. There we go. We have card number 3, card number 2, and then, of course, card number 1. Thank you, Arlene. I'm glad you liked it. Again, all of these cards are super easy, nothing difficult about them at all. And like I said, you can take these and then expand. You can make lots of variations with your leftover pieces. Yeah. From card 1, you can easily use your blending brushes to color your pieces, or use your markers and color the pieces to whatever color you see fit. So yeah, you can have a lot of fun with this set. And I hope I inspired you to pull it out if you already have it. And if you don't have it, I'm hoping that it would make you think to maybe possibly try for it. Well, thanks, sis. Thank you, Kay. I'm glad you liked them. Like I said, hopefully it inspired you in some way to use this set, because again, it's a little bit different, but in a good way. Of course, Arlene. It's my pleasure. All right, my friends, that is all I have for you today. God willing, I will be back next week with something more fun to share. In the meantime, again, I thank you for hanging out with me on this fine Sunday evening. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I hope you have a fabulous rest of your evening and an even better week ahead. Until next time, have a great night, guys. Bye for now.